The Anatomy of Fear, A Mortal Mind Unabridged, by Valerie Lynn Stevens. Part 1. It was one day last December when I kissed the devil on my shoulder, full on the lips. And as my mind slowly yet savagely split apart, I feared it would never quite come back together the same again. This shall remain unseen and pass like a shadow in the dark, and it is never to be known like the soul. It is a flash of perception too swift to sense, sensed but unseen, like the face reflected in the mirror here. This is the quiet corruption of the estranged, and it all began at the first breath, this mercilessly labyrinthine fate. The sodomy began when I was in the embryonic stage, merely an ideal within the faint premonition of an entity I now loathe with seething contempt. And although I writhe not in solitude, I also intuit that I am still stultifyingly alone, as only the devil may care or feign to bear the blame, while I ravage myself in shame. For the secret that lies beneath the guise of this soft, smooth skin and these bright eyes is denied overt purgation time and again by a saint in disguise. Oh, such longings we toil within. But what the forked tongues of many of our kindred creatures tells us is often not what we hear. Our interpretation, we are told, is unintelligible, is in abominable dissent, is to be renounced. I am said by the books of numeral chronology to be so young. Yet why then does youth's effervescent brogue continually evade my soul's tongue? For like the serpent was for forbidden fruit, the devil's advocates we become, bearing countenances of lachrymose seduction, a sad, silent selling out. Taking vows of supernal poverty, the devil's advocates we become, and I am such a poor dear, for there is far too much adherence here. And like the fall was for mortal kind, the Savior's cause I have shunned, bearing a soul of eternal pilgrimage. Having accepted a barter of apostasy, the Savior's cause I have shunned, and I am such a blind seeker. Ah, but what an eloquent speaker. Yet even as my words flow like the founts of the universal river, my heart, I fear, is caught in a dam, a lone piece of driftwood which once served its purpose quite well in the making of some nobleman's last supper. Yet I will not budge, for the very forces of nature, it seems, are against me. I suppose I just must wait for some other forlorn soul to come along and set me free with a good swift boot. But must I wait and thus forfeit my fate to the inept hands of another, as it has been since my first fit and wail? For what comparison is to be made between myself and those who covet and seize this feeling of empowerment that I, as toxic conviction, proclaim to be in lack of? For like the hunter who is guided to his game and prey by its mortal sap tracks, so am I, continuing on a travail, back to the same moot point, as I foolishly seek the derision of the past scourges and wounds, some mere scars, and others vicious welts, all too apparent to this soul's painfully shy, naked eye. Yet my heart remains fully clothed within the synthetic, ill-fitted, man-made materials of the mind, as I am sold to the hungry merchants time and time again, each new bid recklessly meandering into the red. Hence, in debt I shall remain to the merciless creditors of conscience and self-providence, until I have gained back all profit, lost at each rebirth, to the still barren womb.